Good evening and welcome. It's August 14th, and I am Bob Pace, your host. You're in this room for a live podcast about how to fight CPS and stop taking our children. Now, CPS stands for the Children Protection System. It's a branch of social services that is supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse, and also the families pulled apart and put back together for family reunification. Because studies have proven that the biological parents are the best parents to raise that child, be with that child. So it's a warm welcome. I know that right now you're fighting this anger issue with the agency is so corrupt. They're not transparent. They're a terrible agency. They lie, they retaliate, they steal, they ignore your constitutional and civil rights. Now, there's several ways you can interact with this podcast. This podcast is user-friendly, and one way to interact with this podcast is to be in the room listening, as some of you are already. And you can do emojis and thumbs up and whatever, and listen, take notes from what people say, what I say, and everything on that. Hmm. Hmm. As you listen, you may want to text in a comment or ask a question. And I do accept comments. It's very important. That's the second way you can interact with this podcast, is when you type it in comments, please pertain it to a CPS question, something related to CPS. There's a lot of topics we can talk about, but I want to keep it here to the child protection system. And hi Danielle. Wow. I have my old co-host back.
What's up, Bob?
Hey, there you are, stranger. Welcome.
How you been?
Pretty good. My favorite girls are back. The Pink Ladies. I haven't seen them in months.
Yep. Yeah, I had to. I was like, let me hit up Grace. I was like, let me come, and she was like, hey, Danielle, and I was like, let me surprise Bob tonight. So
yeah, well, Grace is doing a Zoom meeting, so she won't be around. In fact, Grace and I are in a seminar every day this week.
Are you? Yeah, I just got out of because I've been So how's everything been going? Have you had in a lot of people come in and stuff?
Yeah, it's been off and on. It's been hot and cold. Sometimes a lot of people, sometimes there's not very many people. Sometimes people call in, and sometimes I have too many people. And there's been many times I could have used your help because
I'm back.
I can't keep track of all the people calling. Right now, I'm talking about how they interact with this podcast. And I'm just starting to talk about how they make comments, how they get into our room here.
Okay.
I'm going to see if Faye will be excited to be back.
Yeah, I've today. I'll tell you an update with my case. Hold on, let me get back to the screen. Where did I go?
Sure.
It's crazy. Sucks really because I'll worry about the comment section later because it says connect, but no. So everything's been going great, and he, he's supposed to come back. Well, today, the my aunt and uncle, they did the drug test and everything perfect. And this has been going on for a long time. Well, now all of a sudden they need fingerprints. Okay. Well, they told my uncle started a new job, right? So why would they want to interfere with that? Like, why? I understand that, but he's got to work to make a living, and they knew, and CPS knew this. And today,
is that your uncle? You said your
Yeah.
uncle?
Yeah, my aunt and uncle.
The one got to do with your guardianship of your son.
That's what I don't understand. Why he's got to even do fingerprints or anything. He went and took a hair follicle and a urine.
Is he living in your house? Is that why?
Yeah, he lives with my aunt. I mean, they're married. He's actually the blood relative of my son.
Well, okay, but aren't you getting guardianship? Your son's 18, right?
He's 19 now. Can you believe that? He is 19.
Yeah. Well, if he's 19, if you get a guardianship, it shouldn't have to do anything with your aunt or uncle or anybody else.
Well, this is the message today that they sent my aunt, was that they were going to find another placement for him. I said, I don't think so.
He's through with the placements. There's no more of the ICW. Exactly. There's no more play. He is 19 years old.
Mm-hmm. And it's mm-hmm. And they've been playing us this whole time. That's what, I mean, really, it's a money game to them. It's money. And I told
money because they pretend he's still in the system.
Yeah. And it's crazy because they even have him as listed as with my family already, with us already. And I'm like, how is that? I don't get it. I mean, it's a big mess. Like, that's what I've been dealing with, and that's why. And it's not, I mean, computer shut down and stuff, and then I had to drop out of the show, and and then, I finally got a progress on my brother with his Social Security. I'm actually in the process of filling out all his paperwork, which is a lot right now. So, I mean, it's making moves, but I don't get where they're gonna threaten this. And I mean, they're picking,
where is your son right now? Where is your son right now?
He's still in Texas. He's still in Texas.
But he's 18.
Yeah.
Well, he's 19.
Yeah. Well, and that's the big hiccup right now is can he just walk? Like, is it voluntary, or do they have a order? Oh, and I also have court coming up about my girls September 3rd. For the guardianship orders for my girls.
Okay, but right now, if there's no court order, he can walk out of that area.
Nobody has guardianship, right? So he's pretty much like we said before, he's in limbo. So
if he's in limbo, he can come with you. You can go with him and meet him, bring him back.
So that's I'm gonna do that. Well, I'm gonna let probation know before I leave, but.
You gotta let your own probation people know what you're doing.
Well, they're cool with it. I mean, as long as I'm in compliance. I mean, everything's straight, and I'm actually about to be off. So, because there's no reason for me to.
Let me explain to the listeners in the room. Danielle is a single mother. You have 2 daughters, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And
she has 2 daughters and a son, and her 2 daughters are how old?
I got a 17-year-old and a 16-year-old.
Okay, so she has a 16 and a 17-year-old, and she has a son who's 19. Now the son was moved from Georgia to Texas because they had to put in a facility. He's a special needs kid, and when he turned,
get her.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, sorry. Did I yell? My bad. Yeah. Did you hear me? My dog is barking. Sorry, my bad.
Okay.
I didn't mean to yell. I thought I turned the mute
off. Special needs, but when he turns 18, he can make a decision where he has to go. Now, I don't know what the court order reads that they sent him with. I mean, is there any kind of paperwork that he was sent under that he's still bounded by that?
I don't. The only thing that I have is that it's an extended foster care contract. That's all. but it can be, from my understanding, it can be like he can pretty much leave at, but they're still trying to make it look like it's under like a child, like a minor, like
Yeah, he's
that's,
not a minor. Yeah.
yeah. And that's where I've, because I don't want to it's hard without, like we say, like we emphasize, get an attorney. That's what it's hard without an attorney. And it's so like the case, it's just it's a mess. It's a mess now.
Mm.
I mean, and then my girls that's coming up, I mean, it's all gonna come to a close. It's just it's been exhaust, and my son is to the point now where he's over it, you know, like he's just he has even emphasized he wants to come. He don't want to be there. He's wanting to come back to Georgia. And
Yeah.
and his voice should matter, but it's like he can't get, and that's what I don't understand about these residential treatment facilities. If he's an adult and these kids are supposed to have communication with the outside world, why are they being sheltered from that? Why are they being like, why can't they just pick up a phone and call? Like, I don't, like, I mean, it's I mean, really, it's like they're in a prison. I mean, they just, I mean, they don't have to like pay for the calls to call out, but they don't get, and that's what I don't get is these kids that are in these facilities, how are they able to voice themselves if they're not being heard, you know? And that's my biggest thing. Like that, it's my son, that's what I'm going through right now.
Wow.
And it's but yeah, he had a birthday in July. He turned 19. So this is 2 birthdays, and now we're into his senior year in school. And I promise he is going, I mean, the only thing that is holding it up now supposedly is fingerprints. Why can't we get those done on our own? We can pay, since they say the big hiccup with CPS and then like my aunt and them, is the schedule. Like it shouldn't intervene in work, and my he's off on Fridays. Why can't it be done on his day off instead of interfering? Because he's the breadwinner, you know. Why? Yeah. So I mean, and so they're looking at it like they're not trying to cooperate, I guess. But really, they've been cooperating. This whole thing should have been over with months ago, a year ago. Like ICPC should only take, they said 3 to 6.
Have you tried to contact them?
I did contact them today, as a matter of fact, and that's
did you
why
ask them why they're holding your son?
They are going to get back. When I called them, it was after 3:00, so I will be getting a call tomorrow. So I will know.
Okay, when you ask them, why are they holding your son? He's 19 years old. He wants to come home.
Who do I?
I'm his mother.
Like, so I pulled up that website that we talked about before, because otherwise, Bob, I'm telling you, without your show, I would have never known about ICPC. I would have never known nothing. And
I'm glad.
A lot of
I'm
people,
glad I'm able to help you a little bit, because there's other people I've helped too. It's amazing the amount of people that I've talked to since you've been gone. I probably talked to over maybe 200 people, and I got more countries too.
Oh, do you?
Daniel just came on. Daniel came on. Faye just came on. She says, "Oh, hey, Daniel. Oh, I'm so glad you're okay. We are both glad you're okay." But her problem is her 19-year-old son, who just turned 19, is still in CPS's hands. They have him still in Texas. And we're talking right now about how to get him out of that predicament.
And the only thing with my family,
the ICPC, and they're going to
call me back tomorrow and let me know.
Because
nobody can understand what the holdup is, even with the CPS here in the state. Like, if it's all they have left to do is the fingerprinting, but the hiccup is she wants it done on Thursdays. Well, they can't meet the Thursday thing because they have to drive 50 miles, and he's off on Fridays. Why? I don't, like, she's making it harder than what it needs to be. Why can't it be done?
Yeah, I agree.
And that's where she's trying, and really what it is I know she did the same thing with me, and that's why we had, I mean, she plays games, And I promise, like, I will be filing complaints because this is not going to
Yeah.
happen. Because this is
Well, let me
kids'
finish up.
lives.
Let me finish up how they interact with this podcast. We were just talking about the comments, and I ask you to please show your name, city, state, or country. And I do mean country because we've had a lot more countries since you've been on here, Danielle. The countries so far, Danielle, have been Bangladesh, New Delhi, India, the province of South Africa, Mozambique. I think they've been on before when you were here, and they're on the east side of Africa, opposite Madagascar Island, and then a country, Rwanda, east of
Oh,
Victoria Lake in Central Africa. They're the
is
ones
that
that
the
had
new
2
one?
million people wiped out and over 500 females raped. And then we've had
And
the country. Go
and
ahead.
where's that at? Where's that at again?
That's in
Where you,
Central East Africa, and it's near Lake Victoria.
wow.
And then we've
And
had Liberia, which is on the west coast in northern Africa. And a guy
wow.
named Archie is called in numerous times about his problems with CPS and so forth. Then we go up to Europe. We've had England, Scotland, Wales, United Kingdom. We've had Denmark and Sweden.
Oh, you got
Denmark,
Sweden?
Sweden. Yep.
Oh,
Got
wow.
Denmark and
That's
Sweden.
awesome.
Then we go across the pond to North America. We got Canada on both sides. We got all the 500 states, including Washington, D.C. We had a young
Oh,
in here from Washington, D.C. that was a
wow.
horrific problem with what happened to her. You would not believe the story that she had to say. And
You
then we
know that
go ahead.
caseworker that you had on the show?
Carol,
Was she from? Where was she from
she's
again?
from Maryland.
Maine?
She's from Maryland.
Oh, Maryland. Okay, okay. So, because
And
they
I've
said
had another
Maine is the
caseworker. I
worst.
have another caseworker on here from Indiana. She's a third party caseworker.
Okay.
She's
Okay.
hired by CPS and she says some horror stories. So I've had two social workers. And then, of course, down in Mexico, I have had that one guy called about his daughters in Louisiana. And then I've had one country down in South Africa. South America, called Guyana. And they are on the west coast above Brazil, east of Venezuela. They're on the east coast, I'm sorry. And they have a coastal town called Georgetown. But they've been on here, and then across the Pacific Ocean to the land down under, I've had Australia.
Have you had anybody from North Carolina lately at all?
Yes, I've had several people in North Carolina. I've had numerous. You would not believe, since you've been on here, I must have had a couple hundred people.
Yeah, I've
And
had
some of the
people
stories are
contact me.
really bad. I had one
They're
lady.
gotten worse. It's gotten worse.
Oh yeah,
Up there.
she's
Like
from
it's
Oklahoma,
horrible.
and she's with the Cherokee Nation tribe. There's 700 square miles of reservation, and the Welfare Indian Child Agency there in the Cherokee Nation has been corrupt. The chief of the tribe, the executive director of the tribe, is also the attorney general of the state of Oklahoma. And she's trying to be vindictive against his mother named Shannon, who
Oh no.
has two girls, and she has so much ammunition she wants to expose them. And they're sitting there going to say, you're going to lose your two girls. This is something I've never seen the Indian movement take an active role and be just as bad as the CPS. So we've had that case.
Right.
There's so many different cases that
Because
we
usually with
have.
ICWA, it's not as bad as with regular. ICWA.
Well, I thought so,
Wow.
but then this Cherokee Nation has done horrible things to his mother and her two daughters.
Wow. I've been I sat in the United States Commission of Civil Rights Oversight Committee for North Carolina, and I just found out that Georgia has no. We have no advisory committee here like all the other states do for the United States Commission of Civil Rights, and I think that is so wrong because these other. I mean, Georgia is not getting anything done. Like it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah,
and it's getting worse.
Well, Faye has certainly not gotten any better with her case. She's had some bad issues that have happened there. She's really she's a strong woman, but right now she's fighting a bad case of mosquito bites.
Ow.
She had
Like,
these mosquitoes that attacked her and caused her fevers and all kinds of problems.
oh, it was.
Now,
Oh no.
yeah,
The bad,
besides
bad
showing your
mosquitoes.
name, city, state, or country, be complete with your CPS case. What I mean by that is try to start off with what your family is all about. Are you a husband, wife? Are you girlfriend, boyfriend? Are you lovers? Are you a partnership? Do you have, one girl, one boy, or two girls, three boys? Are they all by the same parent or different parents? And is both parents actively involved in getting the child back? And then
Mm-hmm.
the ages and the sexes, and then what were the allegations? And also, did you give the children up voluntarily, or do they come in a home because of domestic violence, or do they have a court warrant? How
They
did you
lose
lose
their
your
rights.
children? And what are the allegations? And then where are you on your case? So those are the things I'm looking for people to write in. Now, a third way is to be a guest on the podcast. And to be a guest on the podcast, all you do is pick one of the 14 shows. I'm on Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week, twice a day. Now, this week I'm on at 9:45 instead of 10 o'clock because I go to the seminar at 10:45. So this week only, and I mean through Friday, I'm on at 9:45. Then on Sunday, I come on early at 8 o'clock. Now, there may be days that I have to switch to times in the evening because the football season just starting out. My son plays football.
Oh.
So evenings are at 7 o'clock unless I tell you otherwise. And that's all Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour, 7 to 8 in the evening, 10 to 11 in the morning. But right now this week, it's 9:45 to 10:45 in the morning. And on Sunday, it's 8 to 9 in the morning. All that is Pacific Standard Time. So pick one of those days and write an email to grace@vincentwdavis.com. Grace@vincentwdavis.com. And put in, I want to be on Bob's Saturday evening show or Bob's Friday morning show or Bob's Wednesday evening show or so forth. So it's really important. That's the third way you can interact. And now I'm going to put the fourth way you can interact, and that's the phone call. You can call in. I have my phone number up. I'm now able to take phone calls. That's 626-698-0990. Please call that number. It's we have Vonage we use on the phone, so it's internet based. But you can call now. The phone is open. If you call me any other time, I cannot talk to you, but I'll send you a message what times, hours you can talk to me. So right now I'm live and I'm open to take calls. So there's 4 ways you interact. 1, just by being a listener. 2, by texting comments. 3, by being a guest. And 4, by calling in my number. Again, to be a guest, it's just email grace@vincentwdavis.com. That's grace@vincentwdavis.com. So that's how you interact. I have another comment here from Deanna Tucker Robinson. Can anyone call? Yes, anyone can call, but it's got to be pertaining to CPS, Deanna. And what city and state or country are you from, Deanna? If you want to call in, the phone is live, it's open. Now, since Danielle has one of my favorite pictures, those are 8 social workers. They're all white. They're ladies. I don't know if you want to call them ladies, but they work for the the Department of Children's Services, DCS. And that was in Prescott, Arizona. And they decide one day they get pink t-shirts. It's not the color of the shirt that bothers people. It's what they put on the shirt. On the front, it's stenciled, professional child kidnappers. And on the back, they have, do you know where your children are at? And they're paraded to wear those at Costco, Walmart, Target, Best Buys, etc. And it really disturbed a lot of people. They were disciplined. They were removed. They were fired, as well as the director was fired. So you had 8 social workers, and the director were fired, and then the agency is left with one male social worker to handle all the cases. So if you want some job, I imagine Prescott, even though this happened in 2022, may have openings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Deanna is from Moretta, Ohio. Welcome. So we have Ohio and Georgia and Kentucky in the house, and California. I'm from California. I'm from the Southern California area. But that display behind Danielle is terrible. Those are the social workers that parade around and were so proud to say they're professional child kidnappers.
Mm-hmm.
And that is really, 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 really sad. Yeah. Deanna, do you just want to listen? Do you want to comment? Do you want to call in? It's up to you. Same thing with Faye. If there's some topic you want me to talk about, or I'm just going to pick one of mine. We have a new rule. Faye came up with it. It's a good rule. It's a good rule.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I'll tell you the new rule. It's rule number 5. And what it is that you need to make yourself a folder and put in all these documents in the folder. Your child's social security card, your child's birth certificate, your child's school records, and the birth certificate. You need to put all the information in there and have it in that folder and have it with you so you know where it's at. Don't let the CPS take it. If you have a child, make sure you have it before you leave the room. It's really important. So that's rule number 5, that thanks to Faye came up with it. Okay, Deanna Tucker doesn't want to call right yet. Okay, that's okay. So right now we're still live there, but since we're talking about rules, well, let me tell you some more cases of social workers. A second one, and I think Danielle's heard about this one, but a social worker in Chicago, Illinois put on her Facebook page an ad. What was bad about the ad, it was a reproduction exactly how it ran in 1848. And it said the N-word, but it was black children for sale. Black children for sale. And that really sent out a really horrifying picture, because that's not right. And why are they doing that in the year 2024? And that didn't make sense to me at all. So with that being said, it was terrible. It was terrible. So have you heard that one before, Danielle?
The one that we talked about?
The social worker in Ohio. In Chicago, Illinois.
I haven't heard that.
The black
knows about it, but I know that
your voice has gone
big problem.
Your voice has gone bad, Danielle. What is wrong with your voice?
Is that better?
No, that's still the same. I heard this thing go dee. Now.
What about now?
Yeah, that's perfect. Is there a bad wire?
The headset. Oh, yeah, I think it's my headset. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a new headset.
Is it good now?
Still. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. Well, now I got it caught in my hair. Look, I got to get my hair cut. Like, it's caught in my hair. But no, that
the other example of a social worker, maybe you heard about this. Did you hear about the social worker that was a pedophile? Did you hear about that one?
No, I did not.
There was a social worker. Her name is Crystal. She's Amarillo, Texas. Crystal Zazazar, I think it is. Anyway, she's from Amarillo, Texas, and she's being investigated because they're accusing her son of molesting her daughter. She has a 15-year-old son and a 13-year-old son in Amarillo, Texas.
Wow.
So anyway, the CPS investigator was a man, went to the school to interview the young child who was 13. Well, he asked to be alone with the girl in a separate room. Well, while he was alone with the girl, he asked her to take her clothes off and took pictures of her. Now, the child went home to her mother and said, "Mom, I feel really embarrassed. This man made me take my clothes off and take pictures of my naked body. And I'm just in puberty right now. I'm starting to develop." And that was really mean. That was really mean. So they called She called and she got the social worker fired because he is a pedophile. But that doesn't stop there. What happened was is that pedophile had a friend that worked in the department, and he did some retaliation behind the scenes and had the mother accused of molesting her 15-year-old son. And that was terrible. That was terrible.
It's retaliation. I don't see how these, and that's like when the senator did that big investigation, that bipartisan investigation, and that was the big worry. And it's going on. Like it is, like they are coming back tenfold, even harder at families and doing even more. I mean, like just it's like why like what's the point of it? Why take more kids? Why make things harder? Why make it harder on these families when you're supposed to be preserving them and make it and reunify them with their children and get them back together and build them to where they stronger foundations instead of breaking them down? And I mean, like it's ridiculous. It is. It's very ridiculous.
So
I mean,
that is a third example. We have the pink ladies. Then we have the black social worker with the black children for sale ad. And now we have the pedophile molesting a 13-year-old girl or taking pictures of her. I've
been on LinkedIn a lot, the social platform or the platform LinkedIn. It's more, and there's a lot of involvement on there with like the subcommittees and these committees with the Senate and stuff, and these advocacy groups that are involved with bringing attention to certain, like the legislation and everything. And this lady was posting something on there the other day about ICPC, because you don't hear about it much. Like you hear all these, they talk about these residential treatment facilities. They talk about this. They don't talk about the impact that ICPC has on these families and what and the light, like the process of it. It's so slow, and it's like, I mean, and so she wanted like a parent to voice their experience. So I did, and I'm going to tell you, she's a social worker, and she said that she wants to help empower families to learn what the social workers don't tell you, since they're so caught up in they want you to research it on your own. She is actually reaching out to families and trying to help them understand and get a better idea, like a better outlook, like instead of, because they're so focused on getting their kids back and they need to work their case plan or whatnot, but their caseworker is not telling them nothing. Well, and I like her motive. I like how she's wanting to be that person, that social worker that's on the good side, that's trying to help these families, that's trying to get them, and there are some good social workers out there, but like the one in my case, I don't know what to say.
Did I tell you what my social worker did about my daughter? Did I tell you about that?
No.
What is a fourth example of what a typical social worker is? My social worker was a young 20s, and she was being. Your voice is getting messed up again. Do you have your headset back on?
No, I got it might be my internet. I should have good internet though. I got really good internet. Is it better?
But it sounds like it's really like froggy.
Hold on. Let's see. Is that better or no?
No, try it again. Try to move it or move your head or.
Let me try.
Is the microphone from your computer, or where's the microphone from?
Yeah, the microphone's on my computer, but does it sound like there's wind in the background?
No, it sounds like this. Computer.
Oh, like a robot, like a underwater. Okay.
Well, it's your voice is being distorted.
Hold on. What about now?
Now it's fine. Now, what did you do now to make that clear?
I pressed the reduce mic background noise. Is that better though?
Yes.
You can't hear the wind in the background, no?
No, never heard any wind.
Yeah, because I got the fan. It's hot, and I got the fan.
Right, I can imagine. Deanna Tucker sent another message. I have a good story. I won't get it around the world. I want to get it around the world. Oh, we'd love to have you, Deanna.
Hmm.
This Facebook is live. People in Africa, in Europe,
Everywhere can.
North America, South America, Australia, Asia countries are all listening to this podcast. It's
Hmm.
live worldwide.
Hmm.
It's a worldwide. I on SteamYard, which is the application, and I broadcast on YouTube.
Yep. The notifications come out on the right time now. I've
Oh, it
noticed.
did?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Okay,
Yeah. So I know when
good.
you're on. I've seen you on. I think I popped in a couple times, but I think my computer froze
Oh,
because I was, yeah, and I know I sent some of those like likes and emojis or whatever. I think if I don't know if you ever got
yeah.
them.
I'm glad you did that. But
Yeah.
anyway, my social worker was on the stand being cross-examined by my attorney, Vincent W. Davis. Now, what it was all about is that my wife's sister and her husband were trying to adopt our daughter. And what was so bad about adopting our daughter, well, first we didn't want it because the environment they had wasn't very good. So Vincent asked the social worker on the stand, he was saying, has there been any domestic violence in the home of uh, Mrs. Pace's sister and her husband? And she, with a very first, oh no, they're great parents. They're beautiful parents. Well, then Vincent Davis went to his briefcase, pulled out a folder about an inch thick, and put on the table. And what it was police reports after police reports after police reports of domestic violence. And it was not necessary light ones, it was heavy one, physical
Oh,
alterations, stuff like that.
like
So that was
aggravated.
not a safe environment for my daughter. And the
No.
social worker had mud on her face. She felt so embarrassed. But
Wow.
what's sad about it, she said to us as parents, you're never going to see your daughter again. What she did, unbeknownst to us, is that she told our daughter at age 12, you're going to emancipate from your parents. That means you're going to divorce your mom,
Divorce.
your
Wow.
dad, you're going to divorce your brothers, you're going to divorce your grandparents, your aunts and uncles and cousins, and no longer be your family. You're going to change your name. You're going to seal your birth certificate showing you're never born from that mother and father. And then on top of that, you're going to be adopted in foster care. So she went ahead and did all that at age 12. She didn't
Oh
know
wow.
any better. And if she knew that, I doubt very seriously. It was traumatic to us. And
Wow.
so
I
she
can only.
lied. She committed
Wow.
perjury. And I could sue her. I just don't
Right.
have $50,000 to put a retainer down to have her sued.
They I've noticed that there's a lot of class actions going on, but I still these that's I can't believe. And you is she still a caseworker that you
Oh
know
no,
of?
my case ended in 2017 when my two boys are returned.
So is that lady, is she still in the profession, you think, or is she out of it by
I don't
now?
know.
Or
I imagine she probably is,
wow.
but my daughter, went to the foster care family and then she got hurt and now she's living with my older daughter.
Oh, have y'all got to like talk, or is she just still
Not
not?
yet. Not yet. She does talk to her brothers, but that's about it.
Is it making any progress? I don't, like, does she ask about
Well,
y'all?
she has to go there, but it's not big because she's too been brainwashed. You see, that's one thing. The
My
social
girls.
workers
Yeah.
don't tell you. See, when your children are kidnapped or trafficked or stolen into foster care or into their hands, they don't tell you every week, okay, your mom and dad are working hard on parenting classes. They did
No.
this parenting class or this program. Your dad's taking anger management.
Yeah, they
Your
just tell
mom's doing
them
this. They don't talk about it. See, when you have your kids in a CPS case, the parents are not allowed to talk about that when you see the kids. The kids are not allowed. And they certainly see it should be transparency. You should be able to tell the kids, hey, mom and dad are taking these classes
mm-hmm.
and we're not forgotten you, but we are going to get you home. There's
Yep.
none of that goes on.
I I finished parenting class on my own. I got done, and they they didn't have too much to say about that. I was like,
Well,
hey,
I'm glad. I'm so glad about that.
I can't wait to go to court about my girls, because I will have, and if I'm so bad of a parent, then I'm doing all this and I've made the changes that need to be made, but they didn't
Yeah.
give, and it's gonna be a really good. I have a really good feeling about it.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm a lot more headstrong and a lot more better feeling about it than I was probably 3 months ago.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I've been doing a lot of research, and yeah. So, like, because I gotta make sure I'm mentally prepared. I can't let the emotion part get. You know how when we get in those courtrooms and our emotions get the best of us,
Oh yes. Oh yes.
and that's where they if you break down, you're just a wreck, and I ain't trying to hear that from them,
Yeah.
because they've played games enough, and I just I don't get it, like how they can. I don't get how some of them are so, how they can even do the things they do. I don't understand. Like the threats of finding another placement. I don't get that. If everything is going fine, why would you try to mess that up? Like, and that's what they do. Like these women behind me, they're professional kidnappers.
Wow.
So
Yeah, they are. They are.
and I just, when they said that today to my aunt, I just told her, I said, don't stress yourself. Don't think I said, you've done nothing wrong. I said, you've done nothing wrong. I said, because she don't want to feel like she failed my son. I said, you haven't. He's still going to come home. Like, this is not going to stop him from coming home. Like, it's not going to happen. We're too far in this. When they were supposed to have him home at Easter, we've already missed 2 birthdays, and he's going to be, at the rate they're going, he's going to be stripped of his own graduation, and that's just wrong. So it's crazy. But Bob, are you with? Bob?
Yes. Thank you. I was closing my eyes to refresh my contact lenses. Thank you,
You got
Danielle.
him.
Thank you very much.
You're
That's what I miss about you. You keep me awake. You keep me going.
Look, sometimes
Okay.
I'll tell you, I have to. Here lately, I hit a part there for, I got like in a little deep, little dark spot. That's why I had to
Yeah.
step
Well,
back.
Deanna asked, is there a website that you can go to? Not really. There are podcasts of my videos. There's hundreds of them you can watch. All you have to do is type in "Fight CPS Bob Pace" and you'll find hundreds of my videos.
And what is
So
she wanting to know for the web?
she's looking for a website. Now, what you can do, Deanna Tucker, is you can go and do my rule number 4. My rule number 4 is to research everything you need to know about your CPS in your city. In your city, if you have a small city, then also include a big city. Like say your city is Athens, Georgia. Athens is a small city, but Atlanta is a lot bigger. Atlanta is close to it, so you'd word it so that in Athens and Atlanta, and then you ask, what is CPS like there? I mean, all you have to do is research. And there's hundreds of websites with different rules, but different states and so forth. So research, spend 40 to 60 hours looking everything is about your case in your city, in your county, what CPS is like, what the judges are like, how to fight cases, how to file motions, all the different things in there. So there's tons of websites that you can look up, Deanna. And Deanna is from Marietta, Ohio. So I don't know what the next big city is to Marietta. Maybe in Ohio it could be.
Cincinnati.
I don't know. Is Marietta close to Cleveland? Do you know where Marietta, Ohio is?
Cincinnati.
Okay, so you can put Marietta and Cincinnati, Ohio information on
Let's see.
CPS cases, or you can put on, all kinds of questions. You got to phrase it, and you got to spend some time. Rule number 4 is 40 to 60 hours of time researching the internet, and then you can have so much knowledge that can help you win your case. Now I'm going to go to
Marietta
rule.
looks like it's near
I'm sorry. What, Daniel?
Marietta, Ohio looks like it's more towards. I mean, it looks like it's near Columbus, Ohio,
Okay, maybe
but
you
it's
put
right there.
Marietta, Ohio, and Columbus. And I'm losing your voice
Yeah.
again, Daniel.
Let me see. Okay, hold on.
It's starting to sound really kind of bad.
It's got to be my.
Yeah,
I
it's
think I don't
okay.
need to turn it up. Yeah, is that better or no?
No, it's still bad.
How about now?
A little bit better, but still bad.
That's. We got to get that fixed.
Yeah,
But
you
it's got
do.
to be.
It's
It's
going to
got
be
to be my
distracting.
internet. Is that bad?
Yeah. Yeah, that's worse.
Really? Hold on. I'm gonna mute real quick.
Now, rule number 1. I've talked about rule 5 and rule 4.
That better?
But rule number 1 is to get an attorney. Still about the same, Danielle.
I don't know why. That's
Now, now,
weird.
now it's good. Now it's good. Don't
Okay.
touch it. Don't touch anything. I think it is when you fidget or when you move around, you must move a wire or something.
Well, it's on my laptop. I don't know. Unless it's because
That's
my
weird.
computer's full. My computer could be full, like the memory.
Oh,
That might
okay.
be what it is. So I'm gonna have to clean it off. I'll have to do that today.
Now, Deanna says she's got to go. Thank you, Deanna, from being in a room, and I'll see you tomorrow. It's at 9:45 tomorrow, people. I come on 15 minutes early, and I'll leave 15 minutes early. So it's 9:45 to 10:45. Now, I'm talking about rule number 1. You need to find an attorney. Now, everybody says, well, I got an attorney. He's a court-appointed attorney, or she's a court-appointed attorney. That court-appointed attorney will not win your case. I'm not saying don't use them, but here's the reasons why you'll lose your case.
They're
1, the court-appointed attorney is heavy loaded with 30 or more cases, so you won't have any time for your case.
right.
2, he isn't really qualified to talk in dependency law. 3, he isn't paid very much. 4, he's the friends of the court of all the people there, so there's a conflict of interest. And 6, he doesn't want to fight because it's too much work. It's too much work.
Right.
And so you need to get an attorney. And I like to recommend at least talk to Vincent Davis. Vincent Davis has a consultation for 30 minutes for $60. He will talk and meet with you on Zoom with a presentation for 30 minutes. And you'll be able to talk to him about your case. He'll help navigate you through the child protection system. But he is the real deal. He has 35 years of fighting CPS. He has gotten children back. In fact, he's done lawsuits. After your case is over, you can do a lawsuit. And he's won millions of dollars filing lawsuits both in state and federal court.
There was people talking about him earlier, giving him good. They were talking about you and him and Grace.
Okay,
And
good.
Miss G.
Oh, great. Well, anyway, you need to call in. It's 888-888-6582. 888-888-6582. Now, I don't understand why things are happening I just lost my phone number. I don't know why I did that. And okay, now you call in and tell them that Bob Pace sent you. You tell the office that, and in turn, when you speak to Mr. Davis, you say Bob Pace sent you. You'd be well received by that comment. So it's very important you tell him that, and um, he's worth every dollar. If he's only 30 minutes for $60, it's $2 a minute, and you can $60 is a cost to go to a date at the movie theater with popcorn and candy. So if you want to forget a movie night and talk to Mr. Davis, that's a good thing to do there.
Mm-hmm.
Because a court appointed won't help you. Also, the social
Very
workers are very happy you take court appointed attorney, not only for yourself, but for the children. Also, when they are bored, you can't speak in court to the judge. You have to speak through your attorney. So that's why they hope you take a, um, a court appointed attorney. It's really sad because they're not fighters. So keep that in mind. Also, when you
big.
talk to Mr. Davis, mention that you're interested in retaining him, and he'll talk about his retainer fee. It's all based on the complexity of the case and how long the case has been going on. And if you go out of state or Northern California, he will tack on the accommodations and the transportation to get there and work around um, uh, the uh, the school. I mean, the place when you come out to visit.
Still with us, Bob?
Yes, I'm still here. The other thing, wait, there's a comment that came in.
I've talked. She probably saying she talked to Vincent on a video, and they made a video, one of those shorts, like when
Oh,
he had.
good. I'm
Yeah,
glad you did do that. Now, you says you can't trust attorney. Which attorney are you talking about?
court
Lawyer.
appointed.
I hope it's not Vincent.
No, it's court appointed.
Yeah, the court appointed. Yeah, I agree with you on there. So get that attorney, and it's only 30 minutes for $60. It's really well worth it. And it'll make a difference. I did. I waited a long time. I tried to fight it pro se. That's another way you can do it is pro se, but then you're going to be hit by all those experienced attorneys that are working against you. So I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't do pro se because they got attorneys that'll lie.
Yeah, you can't. It's hard to. I had a court appointed attorney, and she didn't do nothing.
All
Like,
right.
wouldn't submit nothing in the courts, nothing. Like, there was nothing on the record. I mean, yeah. And I don't even know what's gonna happen. Like, because with my girls now, the guardian ad litem, the DFCS, and the SAG are at the bottom of that court notice. So, and they're on these, the ones that were on the case with my son, but I don't know why they're involved in this stuff with my daughters because they've never been. They should have no involvement. There's no allegations or anything. Like it's done by us. So I don't know why they're involved.
Okay.
So
Now, the fourth rule that I want to talk about, no, actually, it's rule number 3. I've talked about rule 1. Oh, I forgot rule 2. Rule 2 is the paperwork. Don't forget to keep all your paperwork organized. Get yourself a notebook, a 3-ring notebook,
notes.
8.5 by 11, and 6 to 3 inches thick. And you need some dividers and some college rule notebook paper. Stuff it full of the paper, put the dividers in there. And one of the most important uh, areas is your incidents. You want to keep track of every incident. You want to know the date, the time, the location, and the people involved. That goes in the first line. The next line, it's going to be the description of the incident. And the third line will be the outcome. And you may not have the outcome for the first year or second year. So you have to fill that in later. But, think about what that will really help you there. So with that notebook, And also, you need to put in the outcome too. What the incident was about, then the outcome. If you don't have the outcome, fill in when you get it. But
Right.
that part is very important. And there's other things you put in there, like the court papers, you punch holes in them, or your program certificates, or your parenting certificates,
Mm-hmm.
all your other paperwork you keep track of and everything. So, and use highlighters, pink and yellow, to highlight things. Now, the other rule number 3, is you say no to social workers and police. There's only 3 ways that police or social workers can enter your home. First way is you give them permission. You say, yeah, come on in. The second way is there's domestic violence going on and a child's endangered, and domestic violence is so violent that they have to intervene. They will come in the home. Also, if there's weapons being fought with, like a gun or a knife or something like that, all those things are illegal for minors. And so it's very important that you stay protected. And you want to stay really in your home. Another thing, too, okay, you can get in your home if you give them permission. If you have domestic violence, they can enter your home. But the third way is a warrant. And with the warrant, it's basically saying that it's a legal document. It is an electronic document. It isn't one that got on the weekend, but it should have the wet signature of the judge, and it should have embossed paper so you can feel it. And it should say very clearly the names of the people that the social workers are alleging did things, the names of the children, what the allegations were, where the house is, what date and time they can come in, and what they can do, talk or take the children. That's a
Mm-hmm.
warrant. They can't get the warrant on the weekend. Courts are not meeting on the weekend. So I'm saying is that um, those are the ways to get in there. So if you're in the home, don't answer the door. If you're outside, say time out. I need to speak to my attorney. I'll get back to you. Get their name. Make sure you see their badge number with the policeman, and you see the ID with a social worker. They will lie. They'll say different names. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really important you get a hold of the right people there. And you don't want to talk to social workers. When you talk to them, they use it against you. So you don't want to do that. Also, there's medical trafficking that's taking place, and that's where your child's quite ill. You bring them to emergency or urgent care, and suddenly there's a social worker, and they end up taking your child away. First, you don't have to talk to social workers. A yes, no answer is all you have to tell them. Now, the last one is medical trafficking. You got to be careful because they will take your child if you bring your child into urgent care or the emergency room because something terrible has happened to your child. So be heads up. Also, if you're pregnant, and you're starting to go to have a baby, they'll try to take your baby. Don't let them do so. Tell them to get out of there and tell them not to do that. All right. So, um, with that being said, I'm pretty much exhausted. My time tonight is about 1 minute left, and I want to thank Danielle for coming back. Thank you so much for coming back. I'm glad to see you here. I'm glad you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Faye, thank you for coming in and helping out and supporting the room. Faye. Also, Deanna Tucker, I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Thank you. She was from Loretta, Ohio, and that
Right.
was nice to hear from her. And let me see if I have anybody else. I think that covered all the people.
Yep.
Is there anything you like to say, Danielle, before I go?
Just don't give up and keep fighting. Don't give up on your babies.
That is the
Don't
great
let them win.
words. Don't let them win. Don't let them give up. And God bless you all. and I'll see you tomorrow at 9:45. And you can stay on for a second there,
Okay.
Danielle. Good
Okay.
night and God bless.
Good night.